Valentine Ogechi, in my mind, an embodiment of resilience and adaptability, and a recent graduate and current engineering training. As an international student from Kenya, she didn't just spend her 5 years working towards her mechanical engineering degree. She also spent that time working with fellow students to build opportunities and events for African and Caribbean students alike. In my opinion, she's also been a generally amazing friend for those around her, and she's since graduated with a 3.66 GPA from the University of Calgary and is now working as an associate design engineering specialist for a global engineering and construction company. If you're an international student in your first or second year abroad, then Valentine's experiences and stories as someone who came from Kenya all the way to Canada might resonate with you. It might also offer you some valuable insights on how to manage the culture shock, how to make new friends, how to build a community around you, and how to handle the whole dating scene. In this video, we talked about why she chose to come to Canada in the first place, how she managed to build a community around her, what she would change if she could do all of this all over again, and how her ideologies have changed since she's landed here. As always, if you find this interesting, then please like the video and comment and share about your struggles as an international student in a foreign country. Now stick around and enjoy the rest of the discussion. Today, our guest is Valentine Ogechi. I'm saying that right? Yeah. Valentine Ogechi?
Yeah.
Could you just give us a quick introduction? Tell us who you are and what you do right now.
Okay. Wow, I hate this question in interviews, but it's okay. I'm Valentine Ogechi. Ogechi, Kenyan Ogechi, not Nigerian Ogechi, so I am saying it right.
I didn't know there was a Nigerian Ogechi.
It's actually a Nigerian name. There's more. Anyway.
Okay.
Most people think I'm Nigerian, but no. Valentine Ogechi, Kenyan. I am a recent graduate from UFC, mechanical engineering with a minor in digital engineering. Currently unemployed, seriously looking for a job. Yeah. Things I do, I play the saxophone. Haven't practiced in a while.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
I've never seen you play, but okay. I feel like that's just something you say.
No, I used to be really good at the saxophone. I just got really busy.
Like before you came to Calgary, or?
Yeah.
See, that was like
5 years ago.
Exactly. Are you still good?
Moving on.
Because do you even have a saxophone?
I do. I have one in my room. The thing is, practicing the saxophone is hard because of neighbors. Because I also sing, but I can't practice my singing because it's really loud. Like,
I also haven't heard you. Actually, no. And it was actually pretty good.
Oh, thank you. And that was without practice. I'm also a photographer, a dormant photographer. Right now, just doing stuff on my phone. I'm obsessed with sunsets and fall and fires. Like campfires, not like arson fires.
That's fine, too.
And recently, like Northern Lights. But I hate the color orange, which is funny because I like fall and sunset and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I guess that's the most about me. I also end up in a lot of leadership positions by mistake. Yeah.
Is it really by mistake?
At this point, I don't think it is by mistake.
How does it happen?
I don't know. Like, they picked me for prefect in grade 4. Then I was prefect 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then head girl in 10 and 11. And then prefect 12 and 13. And then I was president of AXA by mistake.
By mistake.
And now I'm in like I'm the board of, I'm on the board of Immigrant Champs Canada. Also like by mistake.
What is that?
It's a new organization thing that I'm volunteering on now that I'm unemployed.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But you said volunteering, so there's no money.
Yeah, there's no money.
Good for the resume, though, at least, right? Maybe.
Not kinda, but if I was looking for a leadership job, yes.
Okay.
I'm looking for an entry-level engineering job, so no, not really. I am short.
Yeah. 5'7"? No, not that one.
Yes, I am 5'7".
I'm good at this kind of things, you know.
I'm 5'4.5".
Oh, never mind. 5'4"?
Yeah, how tall are you?
6'1".
Don't believe it. Michael?
Every girl, man.
6?
Yeah. 6'1". Why don't you believe it? AJ, I'm pretty sure I'm taller than AJ.
You don't look... AJ also doesn't look 6'1".
I don't know what 6'1" is supposed to look like.
Wow, you guys are 6 and 6'1", and I'm 5'4".
Is it because we're not, like, towering over you or something?
To be fair, the one person I think is tall is 6'3". So...
Who is it?
Justice.
Yeah, I thought it would be him. Yeah, he is 6'3" and he is tall. Oh, I
But he
can't
also
tell you.
looks tall, so he
Maybe
just
it's
looks taller. Like his proportions make him look.
no. Keep talking. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm just
I'm just like,
making sure.
yeah, his proportions make him look taller. My proportions make me look tall too, so I think that's why I don't believe I'm 5'4".
I agree. Maybe it's like the slimmer you. That's not true because I'm slim.
It's like a torso thing. Like my pants, I wear the same pants as my roommate, and she's 5'8".
And you look taller than her, or as tall as her.
Just to me. But the fact that we wear the same length of pants and she's like 4 inches taller than me is a thing. Yeah.
Okay, so the longer your torso, and I know we've digressed, but the longer your torso,
the shorter you look. So I have a very short torso and
it makes you look
long legs.
So you're saying I have short legs, or I don't even. Are you sure?
I feel like
I don't have short legs.
it also depends on where you wear your pants, though.
I wear my pants on my hip, like any other guy.
And I feel like guys who wear their pants there end up looking shorter.
So Justice wears his pants on his ass is what I'm hearing.
Justice is also really tall, so finding tall
By
pants,
2 inches. 2 inches.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move on.
Moving on.
I'm glad you know where Justice wears his pants. Yeah, we'll leave it. We haven't even gotten to the
it's
first
something
question.
I've noticed about tall guys, and I've always asked, and they're like, "Oh, we can't really find pants that are." Yeah, I like that. Which is interesting because this is Canada, but like finding clothes for tall people in general is hard. I'm 5'4" and I can't find pants.
But you're not tall, so why are you struggling?
Because I have long legs. So if I go to Old Navy, I have to buy tall pants.
Old Navy's.
Even American Eagle, I have to wear tall jeans.
I thought you were gonna say because I don't know where girls shop at, Aritzia or something.
That's a different problem.
Tells you what I know, but we haven't gotten to the first question. We've digressed way too much.
Okay, sorry.
Let's get into it. So our first question.
Oh gosh.
It's chill.
Okay.
I think. What brought you to Calgary, and what made you choose University of Calgary specifically?
That's such a funny question because I didn't even want to come to Canada.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I went to international school, and it was the UK curriculum. So I did IGCSEs and A-levels, which is what they do in the UK. And I was going to do engineering there, but then the pathway was just not making sense, and they didn't have a lot of scholarships in the UK. So
Surprising.
when I went to my A-level school, a lot of people were applying to the UK, but then there was a bunch of people also applying to the US, so I joined those guys.
Didn't end up in the US though.
Yeah. And then God works in mysterious ways. So I was in church one day, and then this lady from Canada, from Edmonton, I think, so I was leading worship, and I think I told the children's story on that day. Anyway, at some point I was on the pulpit. So she approached me after, and she's like, "Oh, like commending me and everything, talking to me, finding out about me." I was like, "Oh, I'm applying to schools in the US. I want to do engineering." She's like, "Oh, you should try Canada. You should try U of C and U of A." I was like, why would I be applying to U of C and U of A? But then I did it just because, like, why not? And then I got into U of C, and it was the cheapest out of all the Canadian schools that I got into. So that's how I ended up in Canada. I did not know that Calgary is a very, very cold place, but it's okay.
Better Calgary than Edmonton.
No, that's true.
Like, Edmonton is worse city-wise. I mean, like, in how it looks. The weather is worse over it. You don't think so?
I was in Edmonton this week, so it wasn't bad. It was really pretty.
Well, that's the best time you've had in Edmonton, I'm sure.
I'm friends with somebody who's he knows how to find stuff to do.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I always go to places where there's actually stuff happening. I haven't seen the boring side of Edmonton yet.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So you like UFC ever since you've been here? Did you find that your what's it called? Your look on Calgary, on Canada changed since you were like 18?
Over time, I guess.
Because it sounded like you didn't like it when you first came in. You were probably begrudgingly enrolling in.
Oh, no, not begrudgingly. I feel like overall I was excited to study abroad because my final option was studying in Kenya, and then I would have done business, not engineering.
Okay.
So I didn't want to do business. So I was super excited to be going to Canada, to be doing engineering. And then UFC, I think at that time was 8th in the country for engineering, and right now 6th. I think I checked yesterday, 6th.
Who's above us? Toronto.
Yeah, U of T is number 1.
Makes sense.
UBC.
Okay.
But we're above Western and McMaster, which is where I wanted to go. Queens is like 12, which was also in my top 3. So thank God I did not go to Queens. But yeah, so I was happy about coming. And then I didn't really know about how cold it was in Calgary until I went to church. And then somebody was driving me home and they're like, oh, are you ready for the winter? I was like, it's September. Why are we talking about the winter? And she's like, you know, it's going to snow in 2 weeks. And the first snowfall of the year was in September that year. And it was so bad. And she was like, oh yeah, it snows. And then it stopped snowing in like April. And at that point, I was like, I thought winter was like one of 4 seasons. So I thought it was
it's like half the year.
thought it was going to be 3 months of snow.
Yeah.
And then I counted September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 8
Sometimes
months.
May.
Sometimes May. 8 months of winter. So I think my first year was like bad because I just didn't expect that much snow.
Yeah.
And then the second year was the pandemic. And then being quarantined in the winter is also not fun. So
Yeah.
but in the third year, I think just because things opened up, like we didn't care if it was cold, we didn't care if it was snowing, we always found stuff to do outside. So it was okay. And then over my internship year, I worked with people who are from Calgary, have lived here their whole lives, and they have like a different way of enjoying the snow, and they shared it with me. They would go skiing. I never went, but like hearing the stories was fun. So the skiing, my boss would cycle to work every morning, even in like minus 25.
White guy.
Yeah.
Of course. No, nothing against white guys.
He's from Red Deer. He went to U of A, and now he's in Calgary. And it's just, I'd wake up in the morning and it's cold and I'm upset and I'm going to work. And then he's cycling in and he's excited for the day and he loves it. And he asked me, oh, how's it going? I was like, oh, not so good. It snowed in the morning. I was like, and he's like, yeah, it snowed in the morning. And he'd be happy about it. So I think over my internship, I changed how I look at the snow. And then final year was nice. Like, even with the snow, it wasn't bad. Also, when you have an expensive jacket, the winter is so great.
What jacket is this? Canada Goose?
No, but I can't remember, but I got like a really heavy one from Fashion Nova on sale.
Okay.
So it was warm that winter. I think my first and second year, I didn't really have like a super warm jacket. So I was feeling all the cold.
Yeah.
But in fourth year, I had a super warm jacket, thermals, the right shoes. The winter was okay.
Were you one of the people who wore leggings during the winter too?
I have to.
You have to?
Yeah. I'm terrible with the cold. Like,
I've always been shocked at girls who wear leggings because I'm like, how are you? You're probably warm up here, right? But then, like, how are you still not warm how are you still cold and like? What am I trying to say?
wait, like leggings, like
leggings.
just leggings,
just
or
leggings, because that's what I see.
underneath?
No, just like I don't know what's underneath.
No.
Just legs.
No, I thought you meant like I'd wear like my thermal
Yeah.
and then my sweatpants.
Oh, okay.
So like,
but I've seen like girls with just leggings in winter.
I've seen guys in shorts in the winter.
That's weird.
There was this one guy in first year. Everybody knew him. Tall, blonde guy.
Okay.
T-shirt
You're
and
describing
shorts.
a white guy. White guy have something we don't have. They have superpowers.
You saw a black girl in just tights?
Yes. You telling me you've never seen this before? Okay, maybe it's just me. I swear to you. Yeah.
That one is new.
You've never seen that?
No.
I swear, it's not even like a race thing. Like every girl, at least in the city, not every girl, but every race has at least one girl that I've seen who's come to negative 30-degree weather in like leggings. And I always thought maybe leggings is just that. It's just that
Maybe
material.
it's like fleece lined on the inside and then she's really warm.
It's that material that just makes it good in any sort of condition. Mad. Okay. Actually, I had something that I wanted to ask based off of what you were given before, which was, it seemed like you found community pretty quick. Or was it not pretty quick? It's because you talked about it even in your first year. You found friends that were telling you about, oh, you better bundle up in the winter or something like that. How did you manage to find community super quick?
I feel like there was always people I could talk to, but community maybe second year, end of first year. Because the person I was speaking to about like the whole bundling up, we haven't spoken since literally the day she dropped me off after church. But
Okay.
I went to church and I met people, and it's an Adventist church. So I went to church on Saturday, and this one somebody took me to church. Let's start with that. I think. Anyway, I ended up at church. Let's not get into that. I ended up at church.
Yeah.
And then I stood up to introduce myself, and I was like, "Oh, I'm an international student from Kenya. This is like my first or second week in Calgary." And then after that, a family approached me, and they were like, "Oh, we're Kenyan too." And then we found out like we're the same tribe and everything. And they invited me to, I think it was Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was Thanksgiving. So they invited me to Thanksgiving at their house. So she came and picked me up from campus, and we went there. And then during that whole Thanksgiving time, that's when we were like talking and everything. And then we kind of just didn't talk after that.
Okay.
But like, so it's just like the whole thing of we
No
were from the
happy
same
ending.
place, same church, same tribe. Like they helped me kind of, it was nice that we already had a bunch of stuff in common. So it was easier to like connect on that end. But it wasn't for any bad reason. She went to MRU, I went to UFC. It wasn't like MRU is on the other side of the city. She lived like, I think deep north. She lived far away. I can't even tell where it was at that point. So there wasn't a lot of chances to see each other. She already had her own friends. And then their church was on the other side of the city. So I kind of never went back that way. I went to the church at Lions Park. So, yeah, we just didn't talk.
Where did the community come from? Like the friends that you still have today?
AXA, actually.
Okay.
So so there was a church thing again on Friday evening. And the church thing ended, introduced myself, and then there was this one white guy from South Africa. He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to go back to res." And he's like, "My friend started this club. You should definitely come for their event."
Who's this guy?
I don't remember his name.
Oh, I thought you were going to say AJ.
No,
Okay.
he was a white guy from South
Right,
Africa.
yeah.
But he did go to the same church as me on Saturday, so that Lions Park church.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, definitely come to church tomorrow, and then let me take you for this event." So he took me, and it was an AXA event, the first event of the semester.
He wasn't shooting the shot or nothing?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was so cute. Can we cut that out?
No.
But yeah, he took me to an AXA event. I met a Ugandan, and she was so nice to me, and she calmed all my nerves. And then I was like, okay, so I'm definitely coming back to every AXA event. And then I had met Shemi. She's in engineering with me. I met her in orientation, and there was 2 black girls at orientation, me and her. So she walked up to me and she was like, "I love your hair. We are going to be friends." But like in the nicest way, and I loved that. So I used to drag her to AXA events. And then there was an AXA sports tournament, and I played basketball.
Word.
And that's where I met Esosa and Teresa and a bunch of other people. Like I used to see them at the DC, but we never really talked.
I don't think I know what the DC is.
It's on the other side of Craigie Hall. So the Craigie Hall that has the...
Oh, dining center.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the dining center.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to see them all the time, but we never really talked. So playing basketball, being on the same team, being on opposing teams, there was just a lot more interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like more chill. And then, so I kind of like got friendly with them, but not close. And then I met AJ, who was friends with all of them. And I was like, this one guy is friends with all the girls that I want to be friends with. We have to be friends. And we're in the same classes and everything. So as AJ and I got closer to them too. And it was a lot easier because it was like our schedules didn't work out, but AXA events were in the evening. And we all wanted to go for AXA events. And there was always great food. So we'd go for AXA events. And then during the pandemic, when everybody who was not international went home, when there's like 20 people on campus and 10 of us are black, we're going to be 10 best friends.
This must have been like 6-7 years ago. Or 5 years ago. 2018?
2020.
2020?
Yeah.
When did you
March.
get into university?
2019. September.
Dang. Only 10 black people on campus.
No, okay, that was an example, but...
There we go. But what I got from that was, if you're an international student, it's very important that you join student clubs.
It is.
Because without it, you probably wouldn't have made many friends, if any at all, right?
Yeah, and it's nice because the club events, Because I feel like when you're trying to make friends with people, it can also be hard to be like, oh, let's do this, because you don't really know what the other person likes. And when you're new, like,
Yeah.
new in Calgary, like, what do you even know?
Mhm.
But if you're all just going to the same event that's curated, there's food, it's at a great time during the day, it's on campus, and you live on campus, it just makes so much sense.
Did you have an easy time being friends with those who were not black?
Yes.
Because, and
And
this is my
no.
assumption, I
Okay.
assume coming from, did you come from UK, you said?
No.
You were coming from Kenya, right?
Yeah.
But it was an international school.
Yeah.
I don't know if they had like, I don't know, foreigners,
It was-
white people.
All my teachers were white, actually.
Okay.
And then
So you had seen white people before you
yes.
came here.
I had a British accent before I
You
was in Canada
still have
for.
it.
Okay, yay. That's great. I thought I was losing it.
No.
Okay.
But, okay, because I actually thought that when you came from Kenya, there would only be like other Kenyans. But since you already had experience, quote unquote,
It's-
dealing with white
It
people.
is. It's actually so interesting. In my class, there was only 2 Kenyan girls, and it was a big class.
Dang.
Yeah.
In Kenya.
Yeah.
2 Kenyan girls in this entire school in Kenya.
In my class.
Even still. Like, I had that experience here, but like it's Calgary, and that was when I was in
But
grade 4.
There was a lot of other black people, though. There was Ugandans and Tanzanians.
What school is this?
Greenstead's International School.
Okay, I don't know that school.
It's like a more low-key school.
Okay. But when you came here, did you converse with like people who weren't Africans?
Yeah. My roommate on residence in Kananaskis, I shared a room with someone. It was 2 beds. I feel like it had the potential to be a terrible experience, but I had a good roommate. She was Peruvian. She was also an international student.
I'm embarrassed to say I don't know what Peruvian is.
She's from Peru. It's like in South America, I think it's a straight line. I also did not know where it was.
Mhm.
It's like a straight stretch of land.
South Africa.
It's mostly, yeah, it's mostly beachy and everything. So, made friends with her. We were in the same major, well, engineering, but then we ended up in mechanical together. So we had the same classes, not at the same time though, I think. Were we in different blocks? Anyway, both in engineering. I can't remember if we're in the same blocks. Blocks are like how we go to class.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, we weren't in the same block. And then we made friends with one other person. Her name is Isra. She's from Bangladesh. You might have heard of.
Yeah. Does she have? What are the chances we know the same Israel?
Probably not.
Yeah, most likely not. Let's not even.
But yeah, she also ended up in mechanical. So we were at first a group of 3. So me, her, and Isra. So me, Janella, and Isra. And then just got to know more people from our separate blocks. So I think within that group, I was the only black person. It was a very diverse group. And then with the pandemic and then splitting into our different blocks, and we're in first year, we had just met, so we kind of just like stuck to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But then being here longer, meeting more people, we kind of now found our separate groups.
Okay.
So the friendship kind of like went its own way, but like not for any bad reason. We just
If you saw each other today, you'd be.
yeah. We were in mechanical together, so I would see them all the time, and it was
Okay.
always good vibes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So when you came in, yeah, you were interacted with white people before.
yeah.
I say this because I hadn't, right, when I first came in. If you were 18 again, right,
Mm-hmm.
would you do this entire university thing the exact same way all over again? Or would you what would you change if you could?
I feel like a lot of my experiences weren't because I wanted them to be what they were. I didn't want to come to Canada, kind of found myself here.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go through a pandemic, but I went through it and it was okay. I really feel like a lot of my experiences were tailor-made for me, and God was just like pushing me in different directions. So in terms of like the whole broad thing, probably don't have a choice. It'll probably happen exactly the way it's supposed to. But in terms
say you
of
had a choice. Say you had a choice.
yes.
You would do it the exact same way all over again.
Okay, there's a few things I would change. One thing I wouldn't change is coming to Calgary. Calgary is cold, but Calgary is the sunniest city in Canada. And I realized what affects me more is the sun, not the cold. It could be -40 and it's sunny outside and I'll have a great day. It'll be 2 degrees and it's cloudy and I'm upset.
Okay, but you just said Calgary is the sunniest place, but you also wouldn't come to Calgary.
No, I would.
Oh, you
I
would?
would come to Calgary again.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And then in terms of school, I think I would still come to UFC. If there was more finances, I'd probably still I would go to like Waterloo because I did get into Waterloo. It just was
Nice.
way too expensive to go.
No, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, so I think with the same finances, I think UFC would still be my top choice.
Hmm.
It's a good place. I think engineering at UFC is growing, so that was nice. I would still join AXA. I would probably actually I'd like to think I'd be an exec in first year, but I was using a lot of first year to get used to a new place. So maybe not. That would have to depend on like how settled I feel, but I'm really glad that I was a part of AXA and all the friends that I made. Maybe I would join an engineering club. I didn't really do a lot of that in school because I felt like I was doing a lot of engineering classes. I really needed clubs that were outside engineering to meet different people because I felt like everybody in my class was in the same clubs and I didn't want to see the same 5 people. Like, love them, but it's very easy, especially in engineering, because we don't really have a lot of outside classes. It's all like engineering classes. It was nice to meet other people.
Okay.
And yeah, I like the friends that I have right now. So yeah, mostly the same.
It's probably because they're all Nigerian. No, well, they're not all Nigerian.
They're not all Nigerian. They're half
Half
of them are
Nigerian.
Nigerian. It's great when we sit in a room. Whenever we come together, like mentally, like we always do it, we count. So when the Nigerians are outnumbered, it's always like, oh guys, we're outnumbered
Whoa.
today. And then there's times where we come into a room and there's more Kenyans than Nigerians.
I've
and
never
it-
been in a room like that. I can't lie.
Wow. I should invite you to a games night or something.
So you guys have games nights and you don't invite me?
It's mostly girls though.
I don't mind.
You don't
Genuinely.
mind, but like why would I randomly invite
A guy. Okay, fair
yeah,
enough.
if I'm inviting you, then I'll just might as well invite all the other guys that we didn't invite, you know?
No, fair enough, fair enough.
And then the Kenyans would not be outnumbering the Nigerians. I'll just take a picture and send it to you.
Okay, I don't even mind that. Because I'm actually surprised that you said you wouldn't really change much. Because I think about what I would change if I was 18 all over again. I feel like from 18 to 21, my whole thing was about dating, right? That was like my priority. It wasn't until 22 that I was like, that I had to work and also go to school at the same time, but I didn't have a car, right? I had to
And now
transit
there's
between.
no time.
And I was like, fuck, this is not the life I want to live. Like, I have to get money. And that's when I started being like, okay, school is a way to get money, right? Let me take this seriously. And that changed me. And I think I've been on that sort of trajectory since 22. But if I were to go back and do it all over again, now that I have this wealth of experience, we'll say, I don't think I would have cared which university I went to. If it was Athabasca, I would have gone there, right?
I feel like that's a big thing that definitely changed.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like I was plunged into that before I came to university because I finished high school in 2016. So if all things went well, I would have gone to school. Okay, maybe that is what something I would change. I would have just come to Canada. But my mom said I was too young. And I think that was a great call on her
Absolutely.
end.
I agree. Yeah.
Especially if I was going to be studying abroad. Coming here when I was 17, the traps I would have fallen into.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. Like, I'm one of the oldest within my friend group just because I feel like Nigerians study super fast. And that's okay, but I'm glad that I came here a bit older.
They're taught.
Most people finish uni at 20, and I feel like that's so great. You
Yeah.
have your whole life ahead of you. But I prefer the pace that I took because I feel like, so that whole plunging into like realizing stuff, because that whole, the relationship thing, and I think it came to me in like end of high school, and then I went into A-levels, which was after high school, but it wasn't really university, and it was also a boarding school, so I left home. So that whole thing kind of happened at A-levels, and then that's when I was like, okay, so I'm not at home anymore. I'm slowly transitioning out of the house. I want to do engineering, slowly realizing that I can't do engineering in the country. Like, at first I was just like, I'm going to an international school. I'm definitely studying abroad. During A-levels, that's when it hit, like, if I actually want to do engineering, I have to leave the country. And then all those, I'm going abroad to do engineering, so I have to take things super, super seriously because I'm paying 5 times the tuition that everybody else is.
Yeah.
And then I'm in res and everybody's partying every weekend. but I can't do that because my classes are stressing me out. And my roommate is also international. And we'd be there and we're like, we're paying so much for this one class. We need to figure it out. So most of that happened before.
Would you say that contributed to you maturing probably pretty quickly?
For sure.
The realization that you were paying a lot more than your fellow students?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I just came to the realization, I think, earlier this week that because I think I've matured since I was 18. Not that you would know because you didn't know me at 18. But I think I've matured. And I think the reason why I mature and why I think a lot of people mature so quickly, maybe not quickly, but mature in general, is through like adversity specifically.
Yeah.
Right? But when you think about it like that, if you wish for yourself to become more mature, I feel like you're wishing for adversity, but nobody really wishes for it. So if you want to mature, you have to go through adversity. But if you don't want adversity, then you have to say to yourself, then that means I don't want to mature. That's just something I thought about. Anyway.
No, it's a big thing because growth is painful and people don't realize growth is painful. I remember this one sermon where someone was like, if you pray for patience, God isn't just going to give you patience. He's going to give you situations that are going to force you to be patient.
Yeah.
I read this book called The Mountain Is You. And a lot of people read it and they're like, I feel like I'm such a different person.
Word.
And I thought it meant the mountain is you, like, oh, I'm a big person. Like, I have so much in me. And the first chapter, she was like, so I'm just going to tell you what this book is about as you get into it. The mountain is you means you are your own problem. And you need to, like, sort your own insides.
That's
like
deep.
And I was like, I feel like I've been catfished into this book. But I love that she was, like, open and honest at the beginning. So it's personal growth is definitely painful and hard, and everything that needs to change is inside you.
So then, if you had decided to stay in Kenya, do you think you would have had more challenges? Because I don't even know. Did you have a lot of challenges while you were here as an international student? You don't come across as you don't come across as though everything was like really difficult. You seem pretty happy most of the time.
I feel like one thing that I prayed for is to forget. Just, it's one of those things that when you're going through a bad time, you're just like, I really want to forget how I feel right now. And low-key, I'm praying for remembrance because now I'm forgetting a bit too much. But I have this thing, and I get it from my mom. Whenever I'm going through something really, really bad, when I come out on the other side, like, it's actually gone. I live in the next thing.
Okay.
And then only if it's like super, which can be bad, because even when really good things are happening, I'm just like, okay, on to the next one. But it's been good with like when stuff isn't so good and I move on from it, I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm on the other side, moving on to the next thing. But yeah, it was really hard coming here because one, I came by myself. So I flew from Kenya by myself. And before that, I applied for my visa and it was rejected.
At 18, right? Or
19. Yeah, it was rejected, and it wasn't rejected for any real reason. So I didn't live in the capital, went to the capital, went to work with these visa guys, and I was like, oh, what was wrong with my application? They're like, oh, there's nothing wrong with the application. Canada's super tricky, so these documents aren't on the list, but you need to have them. And I was like, how would I have done this? So reapplied, prayed. My visa came in a week, and it was 2 weeks before school started. So 2 weeks before school started, my visa was rejected. Reapplied, my visa came in a week. Don't even know how that happened, but we thank God. It was time to book flights. My flight needed to be in a week, and you know how prices spike.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to school. I think I paid almost $4,000 for my ticket.
Wow.
And it was a 32-hour flight just because we're trying to make it cheaper.
One way too, right? Was it two?
Yes, it was one way because I buy my return tickets. That's crazy.
For almost 4,000 Canadian dollars.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But you had to.
I had to because I was coming to school, and there was no other alternative. Like, we've already paid all this tuition. At that point, we'd paid $10,000 in tuition. What is a $4,000 ticket? Yes,
damn, okay.
$10,000. Yeah,
And then she comes from a little bit of money. I hope that didn't make you uncomfortable.
No. And actually, I think my parents just work really, really hard for us because we're not that well-to-do. Anyway, different story. And then the trip itself was so terrible. There was a layover in Tanzania for 8 hours, and it was in like a new part of the airport where all they had were benches. No food, no water. I was held there for 6 hours. And they kept saying, you can't cross until the desk lady comes. And the desk lady doesn't come until 2 hours before the flight. I ended up sleeping on like a bench. But I made a friend there. She was also coming to Calgary. God. So we traveled the rest of the way. Stopped in Amsterdam, came to Calgary, did our study permit. We did all of that together. Met AJ at the airport, actually.
Wow.
On that day.
Hey.
And the trip was terrible. And then got to Res and then didn't have service. So couldn't call an Uber. Ended up calling a taxi. I think I paid cash because my dad gave me cash. Got to campus. The dining center was closed. So no food. I couldn't order food because I didn't have Wi-Fi. I couldn't access UFC Wi-Fi because I needed to get my password. But I couldn't get my password without the internet. It was just a loop.
Yeah.
It was a weird thing. I feel like I probably forgot to set it up at home or something. And then I had to find Starbucks on campus because they were like, oh, the only way you can do it is like you need to find a place with free Wi-Fi. I walked around the campus 3 times. I feel like there's so many different loops you can go through on campus. And I was going through the same loop and just was about to give up. I found Starbucks. And then I ate. I signed into my internet, everything. Finally got my Unicard. Had my first meal in the country. This was the next day.
Damn.
I hadn't eaten anything since the airport. And it was a crazy time. So that alone is just, I really wish I went through that with my mom. Because my mom's visa came in, but at that point there was no money for 2 tickets. So she couldn't come with me because it was super expensive. Yeah. So I came by myself. And then just settling into Canada with no family, being an international student, having to learn everything. I remember learning how to use the bus was so scary because it's so different from how it is back home. I used to call it Uber everywhere. And then 2 weeks in, I was like, I can't do this. And it's just like, oh, it's going to snow. You need winter clothes. Like everybody's warning me. I'm just like, it's September. I was supposed to be doing this in November. And now I have to do it in September. So trying to get to Walmart, taking the wrong bus. There was one time I took the train downtown and then I had to come back home because my phone was almost dying. And I was like, oh, the red line goes back to school. Why is the blue line train also red? That thing upsets me until today because all the trains are red.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought the blue line would be blue. So I just got on the next red train. And as my phone is dying, it's telling me detour in effect. And I'm going to 69th Street.
Yeah.
And this was at 11 p.m. So I just got off at the next stop.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll take the next train. And I could not understand why there was no red train coming. Because I was at a blue line bus stop.
How did you even make it home?
I don't know. Somehow, once again, God, something just told me to go outside. No, I opened the transit app just before my phone died. And I was like, okay, so the only way to get back to school here is a train combination that I don't understand. And I'm already lost. I'm not doing that again. But the stop I got off at, there was bus 9. I was so lucky the stop that I had a bus 9.
That would take you to
campus.
Oh, okay.
But then getting out of the train station and finding the bus stop was already took me 10 minutes. I missed the bus. And then I think they know that whole thing of 9 this way and 9 the other way. Mm-hmm. I almost got on the wrong bus. And then the bus driver, I think he just saw that I looked like a confused student and I was using my Unicard and he was like, are you trying to get to campus? And I was like, yeah. He's like, so this is not the bus. You need to cross the street and go to that bus stop and take the bus. At that point, my phone had died.
Thank God for bus drivers.
Right? And then I made it to campus. And the friends that I left downtown got to campus before me. And they were like, how are you only getting here now? I was like, you don't even know what happened to me. It was also really cold. I didn't have winter shoes. My toes were frozen.
Yo.
It was because the trip was supposed to take me in 20 minutes max. It had been 2 hours.
You know, I've had situations very similar to yours. And now that you speak about it, I think about how privileged I am to have a car. I haven't thought about these kinds of problems for 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. Oh my, I don't think I've taken the transit in years. Damn, that's a good life we live.
So I had a bunch of those. I haven't thought about that story in a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't really think about it, but in that moment, it's the frustration of I can't, if this was any other time, I would call my parents to come and pick me up. Or I'd call my dad to get me an Uber.
Yeah.
But there's no way I'm calling my dad in Kenya to tell him that I'm lost. What is he going to do? No, what is he actually going to do?
Well, it depends on what kind of guy your father is. Is he going to tell you, all right, you got to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, young lady? Or is he gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry?
If I feel like in that moment he'd just be scared for me because he
Okay.
can't even come pick me up. He can't call me an Uber because at that point I hadn't figured out how to share my location so that they can get the Uber to come in. So at that point, calling my parents was not an option because they'll just be stressed out.
Yeah.
And I had nobody else to call. So a lot of things where I just feel like I could have called my parents, or if I knew somebody, I could have called them and asked, but I didn't know anybody because at that point I hadn't met the people from church. And then the two other people I could call are downtown and they're two international students like me. They don't know how to help me.
So that's an example of adversity, we'll say.
Yeah,
What
I
would you
think
say?
most of them were just that type.
Just around that time? Or
No, that type, like
Oh, okay.
the type of like, I wish I knew someone who could tell me some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think it was once I figured most of the big chunk of everything out, I think it was okay.
And you said that when you go through really hard times, we'll call it coping mechanism is once it's over, you kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
Mine is kind of different. I feel like whenever I find myself stuck either in the middle of a hard situation or even afterwards, my coping mechanism has been to reflect, right? Like and I don't even think it's a good thing, but I sit there and I'll just be staring, right? And even now, I swear every single day is like this, right? Where I'm just thinking about what could I have done better? And I don't even know why I do it. But I'm surprised that you said that you don't really reflect on it at all.
I do a bit of reflection, but I've learned to be kind to myself. It's something, I think you're like my sister. She does a lot of like reflecting a bit too much. And I'm
Might be
always
like
telling
that.
her, there is no way you could have, like, look at the situation. Could you have is there any way it could have been different? So, like a recent one, she was just like, oh, now I know I should have done this. I'm like, there's no way you could have known this information that you know now.
Yeah, at the
Then.
time. Yeah.
Because then you were doing so well at other things. This is just like the one thing that slipped. Like you're already struggling with the information that you had then to make sure everything else that actually went well. And this is the one thing that didn't go okay. And it's okay.
You ever write notes to yourself?
I do.
Right.
I journal. It's something
Same.
that I got into.
I think everybody should journal.
Journaling
Everybody
is
should
so
journal.
helpful.
I started at
Journaling
like
and
17.
planning.
Yeah.
I started this year, was on my vision board, and I'm so glad that I finally started doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is like a life hack because there's so many things you don't remember. I like it when I go back to like previous journal entries and I'm just like, there's one time I was just...
You actually go back.
So I was at work one time and when I started my internship, there wasn't a lot of stuff to do. So sometimes I'll just be like, okay, so when I get into the office, I just like write stuff about stuff that's happening in my life, especially if I'm not going through a good time. And then I was clearing my drawer one day and I found that book and I read through the stuff. I'm like, it's so insane to think that this is how I was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
This thing is not a problem to me anymore. But in that moment, I was so focused on that. And there's things that I've written down that I wish I could do this. I hope that I figured this out. And that's stuff that I figured out and moved on. So it's like nice to go back and be like, I'm living in an answered prayer right now. Like I'm praying more.
Okay.
But like, oh, all the stuff that I hoped I would figure out, I figured it out.
Nice.
And now I'm figuring out other stuff.
So you were never one of those people that had unrealistic goals that you just could. Like when I was like 18, I'm like, I want to be as good as Michael Jackson at this dancing thing. Like,
You still could be.
nah,
Oh,
nah. I gave up on that at 19. So you never had goals like that?
I feel like either my goals are too small or my God is too big. But it might be a
both.
combination of both. One of the things I wanted to do was I want to study abroad. Like that was like a thing. I was like, I'm going to do engineering out of this country. And I feel like at that point, it might have been a really big dream, but I finished it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like the grades that I wanted to get. I'd be drowning in mechanical and I'd forget about it. And then I graduated and I looked at my grades and I was like, I actually got the grades that I wanted to get. But I also just never had like super big ones, like being the top of my class.
You never had those?
No. I feel like if I did, maybe I'd just be like, okay, but I think I'm super satisfied with a lot of things.
Just a happy child, eh?
I am just
You're
a
like
happy
Moyo.
child. I am. I feel like I'm very easy to be satisfied
That's good.
because the things that make me happy are not
That's
like
low
every time
maintenance.
not even low maintenance, they're different. Like when I look into my future, I see I see myself living a happy life, married, maybe with a few kids, living in a nice place. I don't know where this place is. I cannot see my future husband. I don't have any specifications for how I want him to look, the kind of person that I want him to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think about my profession, which is like weird. I don't think that, oh, I want to be in this job or I want to do this. It's all stuff that is not tied to, I guess, material stuff. I just feel like if I have good friends around me and I have my family, I'll be fine.
That's
Like
so
right
cute.
now, I'm unemployed and it's just like it stresses me out, mostly because of my parents, because I feel like, oh, we've invested in this and I don't have a job. But I'm so happy. I live with my friends. I have other friends. I see my friends every week. The weather is so great. I go outside, it's fall, there's leaves on the ground. I'm just like, I'm having a great day.
Yeah, you and I are not the same. Because I think I'm pretty, I don't know if I'm a worry rat, but like I overthink quite a bit. I'm always thinking I should be doing something else. I should be doing something better. I'm jealous, but also not jealous.
I'm an overthinker too, but I've been praying about it. Oh, and I also did therapy at some point, and
I did too.
my therapist kind of the first session where I was just talking, because we hadn't really like outlined any issues apart from like what I wrote down. He was just like, oh, tell me about yourself, and I yapped basically like what I'm doing right now for 40 minutes.
It's fine.
And then at the end he was just like, okay, that was really nice, but I think my first note is you're a bit too hard on yourself. You should be
I swear
easier
they all
on
say
yourself.
that. They all say that.
I feel like we're all so hard on ourselves.
We probably are
though.
though. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is that a bad thing though? Because
I
we are the ones that know ourselves the
Mhm.
most, right? When nobody's around, we know what it is that we do, and if we are not happy with that, then we're the first ones to critique that. Because pretty much because we know ourselves the most, right? So
Yeah.
it makes sense that we'd be the hardest on ourselves.
for sure, and I feel like it's really good to push yourself.
Yeah.
Because I hate people who don't push themselves. I hate people
You
who are
hate
set.
them.
Not okay. Hate is a strong
know your
word,
feeling,
but
yeah.
you could do so much if you weren't like, I am satisfied with the stuff that I have now, but I'm planning like 10 other things in my mind. I'm always trying to push myself. I feel like if you push yourself, you can be so great. It's good to be satisfied. I think what I don't like is the whole not believing that you can be something that you might actually want to be. Like if you are where you are and that's where you want it to be and you've worked and you've gotten there and you're satisfied, that is so great.
Yeah.
But if you want to do something but you keep thinking that you can't do it and you're satisfied in that thought as much as there actually is something you want to do, then I don't like that. Like,
I think I got confused by
okay,
that sentence.
if you're at a point and it's where you want to be
Yeah.
and it's because you worked to get there
Yeah.
and you're satisfied, that's fine. Then there's those who are at this point and they're not satisfied, they want more. That's okay. But if this is what you want and you're like behind that and the reason you're not working is just because you don't think you can and you're not trying, I feel like that's sad. And that's what I don't like.
Okay, I can.
I would rather you try and fail like a bunch of times, or maybe just once, it's okay.
Mm.
But like, if you actually want something, I think the biggest thing that I don't like is when people say negative things about themselves.
Understandable.
And you actually want this thing, but you're using the negative thoughts to hold yourself back.
Well, it's one of the things that has come from starting this podcast. Literally, the first episode was I learned or at least I understood better what one of my biggest fears was, which you should know what it is. We've talked about this already like twice, and it was a fear of like making mistakes, essentially, right? So, and my mom recognized this since I was like, I want to say middle school. There was this counselor who called me in, and she was like, all right, I don't know why she called me in. Now that I think about it, I probably don't remember the specifics of this story. But she called me in and she told my mom, she's like, this boy asks too many questions. And I think it's because he's afraid. He's asking questions to make sure he doesn't like stumble. And that stuck with me. I'm 24 now, right? That stuck with me all the way until probably, hopefully, when I had that first episode of the podcast. Because at least now I know. But Elmer, which is the guy who helped me set this whole thing up, he told me that if you're afraid, I don't think it was even like a really impactful sentence, but he told me that if you're afraid to start something, then the fact that you haven't started it is already a failure. So since then, I wrote it down. I'm like, whatever it is that I start, just starting is already putting me on the path to success,
Yeah.
quote unquote. So that's one of the benefits of this podcast, and I'm hoping it's helping somebody.
Yeah. It's helping me. I feel like there's a bunch of things that I feel like I should do, but I'm scared. I keep saying I'm going to do it. I haven't completely written it off, but now I'm thinking, is it just fear that's holding me back?
What else could be holding you back besides fear?
I keep making excuses.
But those excuses are because of fear.
They could be. They're valid excuses, but they can be overcome.
Okay.
Like, not direct example, but an example. Oh, I wanted to start at 8. It's now 8:05, so I'll start at 8:30. Valid. You want to count your time in halves, but you could also just start at 8:05.
No, fair.
Yeah. So
Okay.
something like that.
I just remembered a question I wanted to ask you. Do you think dating life, and we're back to international versus
Okay.
yeah, do you think dating life is different for an international student
Yes.
than it is for local? Okay.
Yes.
Could you
I feel like you grow up seeing people and you grow up having an image of people in your mind. And then I think at first that's just what you're programmed to like. Like
the people around you?
and a comfortable thing. It's also that whole there's this in psychology, there's this one guy who says you're in love with your parents. More like not in love.
Isn't it Freud?
Yes, and not like the serious one, but it's just like I feel like you're more likely to be attracted to somebody who reminds you of your dad.
Yes.
Because you saw how your dad loved your mom.
Yes.
And that is something when you see marriage, that's kind of what you want to see for yourself and stuff like that. So something similar to that, like you've grown up seeing your dad, or I grew up in Kenya and I grew up seeing a certain type of people, and then coming here, and that certain type of people
We're here.
is less. And then just being, so there's that at first. I feel like it takes a while to get used to the different people that you're seeing around you, which is normal. But then that waiting might hold you back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's always the stereotypes that exist. And I feel like an example of myself, I'm Kenyan, and a lot of people from where I come from, just also the church that I go to, the tribe that I am, and the city that I grew up, we're very quiet people. I think comparatively, I would never have thought I was a quiet person until I came here. Because I feel like I'm very outspoken, I'm out there, I was involved in a lot of stuff. But coming here compared to the culture that is here, I take some time to observe and get used to the place, but people from here jump into things. Like even at work, we started internships, 6 of us, and the other 5 people were like up and about, talking to people, meeting their bosses, going for coffees. And it took me like 3 weeks to just settle into my space and like look around, because also the work culture was different. So I feel like in university, it took me a while to like get used to the space.
I actually want to pause on that.
Okay.
I think part of that might have to do with selection bias. The people that you're around are people like you who are not from here, right? Because I assume the people you're talking about that you were looking at were also international students. Am I correct?
Yes.
Right. So if they work their asses off to even get here, that means they are the kind of people that would throw themselves at whatever they think they need to throw themselves at to move to the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you're somebody like maybe me or him who was born here, you probably don't have, like, you haven't really worked your ass off that much to be in the same place as you guys. So, and this is not speaking for everybody that's like us, but I think you're looking at people who are already ambitious, and they themselves were probably the ones that made you think you didn't use the word ambitious, but they were the ones that made you think that you were quiet, right? Whereas I don't think people are generally like that. I think it's just the kind of people that you were around.
Not quite. Okay. I was leaning more to like personality wise.
Fair enough.
I feel like people here have more open personalities.
Oh, okay.
And then I thought I had a more open personality, but comparatively I come off as quieter. So I think the people that I saw get into relationships in first year were people who were more like people from here. Because I think ratio-wise, there's more people from Canada than more international students. So if I was interested in 3 guys, there were probably 3 guys from here. But then because I'm more quiet, even how I would approach them is different from how they would expect somebody who is interested in them to approach them. For example, if you're from here and I liked you, I would be coming up to you all bubbly and excited and like, or even if I just wanted to be friends. But then I come off more, first of all, it'll take me a longer time to like come to you. I come from a place where one, I'd expect the guy to come to me, and like even at then I'll just be like, oh, wait first, and then we'll do like a thing, and, like just like, oh, it'll be like a quiet thing. But I realized that even in my attempt to just make friends, it wouldn't be obvious that I was trying to make friends.
Okay.
So it was a lot harder to even approach guys, just because I guess my personality was not as loud or as vibrant, and I think it's improved now. It was definitely way different in first year. So I think, I don't know if I've answered your question, but
You said
I think for me, the biggest like hindrance was just that I can't just come off loud and bubbly. I don't know how to do that.
okay.
And most of the people who ended up in relationships were loud, bubbly, open people. So
Okay. I think you kind of were on the way. Because my question was, is dating different for international students? And
in general,
yeah, then it is. Is it different for an international student compared to a local student? And you were like, when you're an international student, you're comparing the people here to the people where you come from, right? And you tend to flock
I
towards.
said 2 different things and like got lost on the way.
I'm trying to interpret it as I understand it. You said that the people who were more like those who were where you were coming from were the ones that people would, like international students would probably want to date, but in your specific scenario, you actually ended up with guys who were not like those, who were like the people that you came.
I think I'm lost in the recap now.
All right, maybe you want to try answer the question again.
Okay, I think I see the 2 paths that I was taking. Okay, the first path is the whole people being different. I think just general culture shock, handling that before I can even think about like dating.
Okay.
But then I'd assume that people who are from here didn't have to deal with that. And like if they were interested in dating, we'll go straight into that.
Yeah.
While I was still dealing with the whole, I'm getting used to the fact that I'm an international student and these people are different from me, and trying to understand like just basically how people talk. Humor also doesn't translate sometimes, so getting used to the humor here took a while. And then it also just generally took me a bit longer to get closer to people. I had people I would hang out with, but sometimes I wouldn't get the joke, or like my joke wouldn't hit.
Yeah.
So like trying to figure that out took a while. And then even if I did find people who were like me from back home that I didn't have to do that with, there's like really few.
Okay.
The people that I don't need to like get over the culture shock are few, and then compared to everybody else. And then once the culture shock is over, then that's when I can like, slowly, okay, his joke is actually funny, so now I might like him. So that's the first thing. It takes a while. At least for me, it definitely took a while.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is the other thing that I was talking about, which is now that I'm over this whole thing.
There's a different way you approach guys.
Yes. Yeah. And like when I was figuring this whole thing out, I was just like, with my friends, with the people I'm around with, and with school, and just getting comfortable in my space. But now there's the added discomfort of I like this person and I don't know how to approach them. And all my dating stuff from back home just does not apply.
Is it really that different?
It is.
I know there's cultural context and it's different between the 2 different cultures, but
I feel like as an example, there's one thing that people talk about like online. It doesn't really apply to me, but people talk about it all the time. If I was in Kenya and I went out to party or something, I would never pay for drinks. I would get in for free. My drinks would always be covered. And I would go home. Like, it wouldn't be like expected or anything. But the culture here is different.
Interesting.
Like, women don't pay for drinks where I come from, unless things have changed in the last few years.
That-
But like, generally, like from all the videos that I saw, and I always see it when people are like, oh, I went to Africa. Like the whole thing of going to Nigeria in December, or like going to Ghana or going for a holiday in Africa. People are always like, I love the fact that here women don't pay for drinks. But on this side, it's like, it's not really expected that the woman at the bar, like, there's always that whole thing of, oh, there's a pretty lady at the bar and you buy her a drink. But like in the clubs, it's not really a thing. So I think people would just buy their own drinks. And that's just like one example, but like that's wildly different, and it's just how things are.
Well, are you saying here girls don't buy themselves drinks, or that here it's, yeah, is that what you're saying?
Here, girls would buy themselves drinks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But where I come from,
They don't.
just because you're a girl, you can go out and just not buy drinks, and not because you have found somebody who is buying for your drinks the whole night.
Mhm.
It's just like normal to be at the bar and there's a guy there and he'll buy you a drink.
And he
and
wasn't
then-
trying to get anything.
No.
That's a culture shock for me. What you said
Am
actually,
I wrong? Oh, okay.
it's not Kenyan.
No, it's not just a Kenyan thing, because I've seen it in like, it's something that I've seen in like,
You know,
when
I
people
think
go back home.
UK is also similar, but I'm just guessing at that point.
I don't really know much about the UK.
But what you said was like an eye opener for me, because there was a girl I was talking to who's also Kenyan, and maybe this is just a me thing, but I felt anyway like I was spending a lot of money on her, a lot of money for me anyway, and she would never spend any money on me, and I was like, am I being taken advantage of? So eventually I just stopped talking to her.
Was
right?
was she from here?
Yeah, she was. She's no longer here anymore, so it's okay. It is
Oh,
what it is.
okay.
But I never imagined that, oh, it's possible, because she's also Kenyan, right?
Mhm.
It's possible that where she comes from, she just expected guys to buy things for her, and that's just the norm over there.
I have a friend, I won't say who. Her mom has been married to her dad for, she's my age, so let's say like 24 years. Her mom has never paid for anything since she met her dad. Just
Do they live
because,
here?
no,
Over
they live back home.
Okay.
But just because of how things are, her mom has genuinely never paid for anything.
Okay.
And it's completely normal. And not because she refuses to. It's just, that's just the dynamic of the relationship. And that's how it's always been.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many situations like that.
What I got from what you said was essentially it's harder because there's culture shock that you have to go
Yeah.
through first.
Yeah.
But then after you deal with culture shock, you're probably the same as everybody else. Is that
Yeah.
what I'm getting?
Pretty much.
Okay. But now back to where I actually wanted to steer it, which
Okay.
was the whole dating thing.
Mhm.
So you're saying that, I know you don't speak for all girls,
Mhm.
but if a girl has every right to not demand isn't the word, but to expect her man or the guy who is asking her out to pay for at least 3 dates,
Mhm.
right? And not even expect her to take care of herself. Is that okay?
Speaking specifically for me, I think the whole thing of who should pay for the date is something that I have, like the debate, I've seen it. And somebody said this, and I think it makes so much sense. The person who asks to go on the date, especially like the first one, should
Yeah.
pay. So if the girl asks, if I ask you out on a date, I should pay for the date.
50 Cent was the person I saw that said that.
Oh, I think I saw it somewhere else. Don't
Okay.
remember him. And then if you ask me out on the first date, you should pay.
Absolutely.
Especially because if I'm asking you out on the date, I'm probably picking the location and picking what we're doing. Like if it's an activity,
Mhm.
I have an idea of the price. And then later dates, I'm assuming we're going to discuss it. So depending on how expensive it is. For example, if I say we should go out for ice cream, $12 is not a lot for one person to pay. But if we're going to do something that is costing $70 per person and we've agreed to go, I wouldn't really expect you to pay for all of that. But if it was a first date and you took us somewhere where it's $70 per person, I just feel like blindsided because one, I didn't even know it was $70. So you should pay. Just because it's the first date and you chose. But if it's dates that we're discussing, I think normally what I would do if it's too much for me, I would just say, oh, I don't have the money for this. And if the person really wants to go, they'll be like, oh, don't worry, I'll pay for you. It's okay.
Okay.
But there's always that whole dance, like when the bill is on the table. I'm just like,
right.
like, oh.
I come from, what do we call it? I come from a background where I used to want to get dates on as little as possible, right? And I think the entire reason for that was because I had friends who were not even really going on dates. But, we're about to get into something I don't really want to talk about.
I feel like it's understandable for a guy, especially most first dates, you're going to be asking the girl.
Yeah.
So you're more likely going to pay, and you don't know if it's going to lead to a second date.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thought, as long as it's not like Savona's $4 pizza only.
I still haven't had Savona's pizza. And I've been there 3 times with AJ and Tolu. I think so. I think we went there 3 times.
That is a very
It can't be
different
that
argument.
good. It's probably not that good.
I don't eat any other pizza.
Not even Pizza 73.
Nope.
Also, I'm so hungry right
Me
now.
too. My stomach just rumbled.
I think my stomach has been rumbling too. Are you hearing it? We're just the only ones hearing it.
I heard my own. I didn't hear yours. I felt mine. Yeah. I think it's the fact that the cookies are also like in the middle of the table.
And I want to eat them, but my
we can't be.
Invisalign.
Yeah. Oh, I also can't be chewing and talking.
Oh, fair. I'll just talk to myself while you chew. I'll just entertain myself.
It's okay.
So what have you thought about this podcast so far?
It hasn't really felt like a podcast. It just feels like I'm catching up with you because I haven't seen you in a long time.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it should feel... I just wanted to make you comfortable, to be honest. And that's my goal with every single guest that comes in here. What I'm still working out is how to make it... And it's not like a big deal, but how to make it be something that helps other people, right? What do you think you've gained from this conversation?
I feel like I've learned that I digress a lot. So maybe
I think that's just
something I should fix before I start doing job interviews, which might not be a bad thing. But I think I've been able to, like I said, I don't really reflect a lot. And I think these last few months, I've just been thinking about all the great things that happened to me the last 5 years. And I'm super grateful. But it's also nice to think about all the challenges that I was able to